I work hard to earn my pay, and I saved real big today at All-American Ford.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason Spina, the Marketing Director for the All-American Auto Group, and this is the All-American Auto Mall and Old Bridge Updates podcast. This is episode number 50. I'll quickly recap some of our previous episodes, talk a little bit about the beginning of the podcast since we're at the milestone of 50. And then I'll look at some weekly updates, some of our Instagram posts from this past week, and then also some upcoming events. It should be a pretty quick episode. Today is Thursday, August 12th. Tomorrow I have a Jar of Hope charity golf outing. So that's exciting. So that's what I'll be doing on Friday. So I'm trying to get this out on Thursday. So let me share my screen for anybody who's going to be watching the video portion of this, because I always do a video and an audio portion. And I shouldn't say always, because I just started the video portion of it fairly recently. But basically, this is episode number 50. So looking back at the beginning, I want to call out a good friend of the dealerships, actor Jerry Ferrara, who was a star on Entourage and the show Power. He's a great guy, great friend of the dealerships. His mother comes in for service for her Ford, and his brother as well has bought a few vehicles from us. He stops in all the time. And basically, I'm showing on the screen now a Facebook post from March 22nd, 2018. Jerry had actually come to the dealership with his wife, Bree, and we did some March Mania or March Madness promotions with our little pop shots. So we had a lot of fun. There's a good YouTube video up there. It's back from March 2018. And him and his wife, Bree, recorded a podcast episode here for their podcast, which was called Bad for Business Podcast with Jerry Ferrara. So they recorded an episode of their podcast in our service waiting area that night. And Jerry let me sit in on the podcast recording, and he actually pulled me onto the podcast as well to say a few words. And he said on his podcast that I was a natural and that I should do a podcast. So that was back in 2018. Obviously, I procrastinated and did not do it right away. And then basically, I started doing radio appearances for the Tommy G show. So Tommy Gordon is this fantastic radio host. Used to be on like Z100, Hot 97, really big stations. He has his own show called the Tommy G Show. He records it in his house. He's got like a nice studio. It's awesome. I'm showing on the screen now a post from June 26th, 2019, which I believe was the first time I was on his radio show. So his co-host at the time, Marty, loved our dealership, came into our dealership all the time for service, just loved being around cars. So he suggested that I go on every Friday, or back then I think it was once a month on Fridays, where I would do a segment about the car industry and our business and, All-American Ford and Subaru here in Old Bridge. So I started that back in 2019. And, the first couple of episodes definitely were a little painful for me, I think. I wasn't used to, certainly not kind of in that interview setting or anything to do with the radio, but I got more used to it. I got more comfortable. Obviously, practice makes perfect. And basically, Tommy kept telling me that I was doing great and that I should start my own podcast. So those were the two most influential people in terms of me starting a podcast. And then, in between, there's obviously so much research that I've done with advertising agencies from a Google standpoint, and the importance of, facial recognition, audio recognition, and then, of course, SEO, and how a dealership podcast can really bring all of that together and amplify. So I kind of did it as well from the beginning, more from a Google standpoint and looking to help our dealership become more relevant in search and stuff like that, as voice and audio recognition get more popular. And also facial recognition, I think, was the important part of me trying to do this on the video, because obviously, like, my face is on our website, it's on our social media pages, and then it's in these videos. So it kind of connects everything nice from a Google standpoint. So those were the two influential people in the beginning. And then, like I said, I certainly procrastinated. Basically, what happened was COVID hit last year, and as soon as it hit, I actually worked from home. I think if I remember correctly, we closed the second half of March, and then April I worked from home, and that's when the idea kind of popped into my head again, and I was like, I really got to start this podcast. Again, it took a while because I wanted it to be set up. And that was a mistake. I think anybody who tells you to just go out and do something, you really do. You have to just do it. I learned that lesson because I just kept procrastinating. I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted to make sure I understood how podcasts work. I listened to a bunch of podcasts. Like I made it into this big project that it really didn't need to be. It was one of those things where back in April, while I was at home, working from home during the height of the COVID shutdowns, I really should have just jumped into it and started it, and I would have been months ahead of where I am now in terms of the value that the podcast brings to the dealership, to the website, like I said, Google relevancy and all that stuff. So fast forward to September 3rd of last year, 2020. That was my first episode. So again, it took me a while. Finally got everything set up, learned a little bit about it, and I just kind of started it. And now we're 50 episodes later. I've been doing an episode every single week for the past 50 weeks. So we're coming on a year now, obviously, as we head towards September. And, I've had a few guests. I think some learnings, and looking at the stats of this podcast, the guests do a lot better. I think because it's interesting to hear from other people and other perspectives. And I think when the employees get more involved here, I think they amplify it on their social media pages too. So a goal for my next 50 episodes, you could say, I guess, is to really have more guests. But just kind of scrolling through on the screen now, some of my past episodes, I've had some really good guests. Obviously, Jim from Jar of Hope, I've talked about him a ton on the podcast. He was a guest very early on. Virginia, our custom truck specialist, was a guest early on. I've had a couple service advisors, Brooke on the Ford side and Lawrence on the Subaru side. Both of them were fantastic. I highly recommend going back and listening to those. Kimberly May, our Ford sales manager and BDC manager, she was on episode 19. She was really good as well. So there's been a lot of good guests, a lot of good information. I've recapped a lot of events. I had Michael Greengarden from Rutgers Athletics, which was great because we have a partnership with Rutgers Athletics. So that was a cool episode about basically collegiate athletics and just a collegiate athletics department. So that was episode 33. So that was really interesting. And basically last episode 49, I had my brother on, Nick Savino. He's our fixed ops director. He's my older brother. First time I had him on, he mentioned it a couple times throughout the episode. So I'm going to have him on more. He seemed to enjoy it. He liked it. He's very good during, an interview setting and in front of the camera and stuff. So very, very informative from a service standpoint. I highly recommend you go back and listen to episode 49. It's been one of the best performing episodes so far already. We did a video of it, but my office is a little awkward with the video, you'll see. So I think that's been a struggle too with me and getting guests on the podcast, is that I don't really have a good space to film and make it look good without, with the wiring and the setup we had. You'll see me and Nick are a little close to each other across from the table. So, that's something that we'll have to work through moving forward. But Nick talks a lot about service and the service side of things right now. He talks about, running a service department during the pandemic, the issues we're having right now with production shortage, not only vehicles, which affects loaner vehicles on the service side, which most people don't think about. They still expect us to have 1 million service vehicles, but we don't even have that many new vehicles to sell. How could we have a lot of service loaners? And he's just exploded the service business so much, where it's grown so fast, and staffing is a big issue and remains a big issue. It has been throughout the pandemic, and a lot of companies talk about it. You'll see so many hiring signs in all these businesses, and it's really gotten to a tipping point. I know for a lot of businesses, a lot of industries, And so he kind of talks about that, and just the process overall with how our service department is doing things nowadays, and just how much he's grown it. So again, great episode. I loved it. I'm going to have Nick on here more because he was fantastic. So that was kind of just a recap of the podcast in general, how it started. Again, this is the milestone 50th episode, and a recap of some of the past episodes. So now I'll quickly just go through some of our stuff that happened this past week, the Instagram post. So I posted a beautiful 2021 Ford Super Duty F-250 Tremor. It was a red and black, which I love in the Tremor, the really nice red exterior because it's got all the black accents, black wheel, black grill, stuff like that. These Tremor vehicles have been so popular. I get comments on these like crazy on social media, a lot of emails about these. Customers are so excited about the F-150 Tremor, which we haven't gotten in yet. But as soon as we do, we will post about it. And these F-250 Tremors, honestly, this one was actually not a sold unit coming in, but almost as soon as it hit the ground here, it was sold. It actually got sold before I had a chance to post the pictures about it. So that's how fast some of this inventory is moving right now. It's crazy. A lot of it that, you just can't find, which the Tremor falls in that category. It goes so quick. It's gone before you blink. And then we also got a new 2021 Ford Ranger Tremor, and we've had a few of these. They've done very well. Again, very sought out right now from the Ranger and the truck standpoint. This one, though, I wanted to highlight because it came in a really nice cactus gray exterior, which I'll show another vehicle that we got in the cactus gray. It's kind of this new color. It's really, really nice in person. It's kind of hard to tell from the pictures, to be honest with you. In person, though, it goes from almost like a light grayish to a light bluish, and it's just a really different and nice color. So that's the cactus gray. So we do have a 2021 Ford Ranger Tremor in that cactus gray. Looks great with the black and red Tremor graphics package. So check that out. Photos have been on social media, and that vehicle is still here and available as of the recording of this podcast. So you can come and take a look and test drive it. But obviously, I recommend calling first to confirm that it's still here. And then two more posts that I want to talk about. One, we took in a trade of a custom F-150 that our dealership actually didn't create, but it came out great. It's a 2017 custom Ford F-150 Lariat. It's a black and red, really, really nice. The entire exterior is filled with these red accents. The grille is really unique and very cool. The wheels came out great. They're this really nice red kind of spoke design. And it's the Lariat trim, which is one of the higher F-150 trims. A lot of times we'll do our custom F-150s in the XLT. So this one is a Lariat trim. So really nice trade-in vehicle we took in. So very a hot trade, as we call it here, for a pre-owned vehicle, a custom F-150. Very unique looking. You're not going to find a lot of them out there that look like this. The interior is really cool because it's got custom two-tone black and red leather seats. So just a really nice looking used custom vehicle. So check that out while it's still here and available as a pre-owned truck. The last vehicle I want to talk about, very, very exciting, came in yesterday. It is our next Ford mannequin vehicle for the Bronco. So I've talked about it on previous episodes. Basically, Ford is giving each dealership a mannequin Bronco. Basically what that means is that a Ford dealership cannot sell it. It is strictly for test drives. And we actually can't sell these for 6 months, which is pretty crazy, but especially with the inventory issues. But Ford prioritized, getting these mannequin vehicles out so that these customers can test drive them and place orders. So on previous episodes, I've talked about that we got in a two-door Cyber Orange Bronco that was a manual transmission. So we still have that as a mannequin. That'll be here for the next 6 months here in Old Bridge. We got in a really nice dark blue four-door automatic Bronco a few weeks ago that we had here in Old Bridge for about a weekend, but it was actually our Point Pleasant location's mannequin. So it's down there now. So that'll be down there for the next 6 months. Then the one I'm talking about now and that I posted about actually last night and this morning is our Old Bridge Bronco 4-door. And again, it comes in that amazing cactus gray color. It looks great on the Bronco. And this one is extra special because it's the Wildtrak trim, which is the highest trim level for the Bronco, just after or just before the first edition. So this vehicle is absolutely loaded with stuff. Looks amazing. It's got a different and custom grille that's blacked out. It's got custom and blacked out wheels. It's got really cool Wildtrak graphics on the side of it that stand out. And again, I can't gush about it enough. This cactus gray looks incredible. And then with the black accents, just from being a Wildtrak trim level, it is a really, really nice 4-door Bronco. So this is a mannequin vehicle. We do offer overnight test drives with these mannequin vehicles. So you can take the Bronco home for the night, show the family, show it off to your neighbors, drive it around to a couple stores, really get a feel for if you want to order one. And then obviously you'll be able to order one through us. So great vehicle, very excited about it. We will be booking out these overnight test drives. So again, always call and confirm if we have it here, if you want to come in to look at it and or test drive it, and then always call to book your overnight test drives for it. Because we'll have it, but it's going to be very sought out to get customers in this and to try it out before they place the order. So that is our Ford Mannequin Bronco, and that's posted on our social media pages as of I believe I did this last night or this morning on some of our social media pages. So between Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it's all up there. So check out the pictures. Very, very nice truck. Then I just wanted to end on some upcoming events. So I have my calendar pulled up on the screen now, our dealership calendar for events. And like I said, tomorrow, Friday the 13th, I have the Jar of Hope annual golf outing. So it's a great charity golf outing for Jar of Hope. A lot of fun. Me and my two brothers are going to go, and also Randy, our commercial truck manager. So that's going to be fantastic. I will talk about it probably on next week's podcast episode. Hopefully, we always try and win. We always try and win some money, try and win some prizes. So that'll be a really cool event. In September, we have a pretty packed month in terms of events. So on September 2nd, it's a Thursday night. It is Rutgers University opening football game. Their opening night against Temple. And as a proud partner of Rutgers Athletics, we are going to go to their tailgate party and be outside of their stadium before the game. So my marketing team and some other staff members here are going to bring two really cool vehicles. We're not sure what they are yet, obviously. We're going to wait to see what's available at the time. But we'll be there with two really cool vehicles. We're going to run a social media program, basically, where we're going to have this picture frame with a hashtag, and we're going to encourage fans and attendees to take pictures in the picture frame and then post it on their social media, use the hashtag. Then we're going to randomly select winners afterwards to win a lot of really cool prizes. So that's going to be a really fun event that Thursday night. So we look forward to that. Then September 13th, we have our next Jar of Hope golf outing. It's an invitational, and it is their gala at night. So that's at Bella Vista Country Club. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's Monday, September 13th. I'll talk about that a lot more as we get closer, because as a dealership, obviously, and the Savino family, we're big sponsors of that gala. And my father, Rich Savino, is being honored for his donations. So that's going to be a fun event. Then further in that week, September 15th is Sammy's Hope annual golf outing. We love supporting Sammy's Hope. They are an animal adoption agency and rescue. They are fantastic. On moving forward in that month, September 25th is the Feast of San Gennaro at the Gordon's Corner Fire Department. So very close from our dealership, just a few miles down the road on down Route 9, and you get to the Gordon's Corner Fire Department. And they host this Italian feast event every year, except for last year. I believe it got canceled with COVID. And we're always a sponsor. We love to support our first responders in our community, obviously. So look that event up on social media. And definitely it's going to be a fun family event. So we'll be there in some capacity as a dealership. I'll probably go with my family, so that should be a lot of fun. And then really quick in October, because it's still a couple months away, but we've started to post some save the dates and information about it. But on October 9th, a Saturday, we have our Subaru Loves Pets adoption event here in our All-American Subaru and Old Bridge showroom. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then we also have our second Jimmy Allen concert, which is going to be in our All-American Ford and Old Bridge showroom. That's on Sunday, October 17th. That is going to benefit Jar of Hope. So tickets are going to go on sale soon, and they will 100% of the proceeds will go to Jar of Hope. I'll talk about it more as we get closer, but we have a partnership with Jimmy Allen. We've provided him with 2 custom trucks already throughout the years. He did a concert here already, and that was a military appreciation concert. Now he's doing this charity concert benefiting Jar of Hope. So that'll be a lot of fun. So that's October 17th. So again, I'll talk about all this a lot more as we move forward and get closer. My goal moving forward with the podcast is to have more guests on and, talk about their different backgrounds, experiences, and how they feel about some of these upcoming events. And, I'll try and do my best to get some guests that are affected by some of these events moving forward or involved with these events moving forward. So that's episode 50. Hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate all of our listeners out there, and I'll be back again next week. Thanks.
Well,